Welcome to this short webinar on leveraging generative AI for requirements modeling. My name is Mishra, principal trainer and business analyst at Adaptive US. For quite some time, this topic has intrigued me, and I believe generative AI is something that is going to impact in a great way the way business analysts work. So I have been trying to do some research. It's no way perfect. And please don't believe that I am an expert on generative AI or anything like that. From practical perspective, I have been trying to leverage generative AI. I probably started leveraging generative AI more from a blog writing perspective, if I remember very well. I started using some of these AI tools about a year back to start writing some of our blogs for our website, and I found it to be quite handy for me because it improved my productivity quite a bit. And then, of course, over last 6 months or so, I have been trying to research and find out in what ways we can leverage generative AI as a business analyst. So that has culminated into some kind of a book, which is in draft state. That's going to be released in January. We are also going to announce the launch of a program in January, which is again targeted towards generative AI for business analysts. So let's begin and see um, what can we learn in this short 45-minute to 50 minutes webinar. So again, thank you for joining us today. And I always believe people who invest into themselves, who learn new things, obviously go ahead in life. People who are not learning new things definitely are going to be left out, especially in a profession like business analysis, which is an extremely knowledge intensive role. It's not a physical job that you're doing. And since all of us, especially in the IT industry, not only business analysts, I would say project managers, developers, testers, everybody who is associated in the software ecosystem must learn generative AI to leverage them for better work output. So thank you again for joining us today, and let's see. So one simple prompt for you. How many of you believe that generative AI is here for long term? Like it's not a fad. Like we see a lot of here, we sometimes hear a lot of fads. This is going to come, that is going to come. How many of you believe that generative AI will be there in the long term for us? One of you have raised hands. 1 second. Yeah, so many of you have raised hands. So let me allow you to talk. Hannah, you want to say something?
Hello.
Yes,
Yes,
go ahead.
I think that AI will be for long term because it's very helpful. Yeah.
Very good. I totally agree. Let's see, Francis also has raised hand. See, let's see what does Francis say about it.
Hi, yes. So, yeah, I think it's very in the now and it's only going to progress. And I think it's going to help all of us in the long term. And the way that technology is moving, it will be a norm, I would say, in a few years rather than more years to come.
True, true. I think when even computers came, I'll tell you some interesting stories. Um, there were strikes by employees in banks saying that computers are going to take away jobs, and hence computers should not be allowed at workplace. Now, if you see over last 20, 25 years, we all have accepted computers as part of our life. Our children learn computers, and everybody leverages computers for better business, better health, better knowledge. And computing has been a boon for mankind, you know, if we see it that way. So let me allow a couple of others also to kind of contribute. Priyanka, go ahead. Yes, Priyanka. You are muted. You raised your hand. Okay, let me give it to Vinith as well. I think Vinith is one of our past students. Yes, Vinith, go ahead.
Hi, Mishra. This is
Vinith?
Vinit.
Yeah,
Can you hear
yeah,
me?
yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yes. Cool. Good to see you again. So, in my opinion, yes, AI will definitely stay for long term because from last few months, I'm seeing most of
Uh-huh.
my diagrams and everything. I'm using generative AI for initial diagrams. That's saving me a lot of time. So,
Very good.
yep.
Yeah.
Hopefully, this will be definitely for the long time.
True, true, true. It is not a short-term fad for sure because, see, anything that brings tremendous value to the profession, to work, to companies, it's going to stay there for long term. Of course,
Yes.
technology always sees fads, and sometimes we have to be careful of not picking up a fad and investing a lot of money into a fad, finally finding out that it's not giving the results that we want. But I always believe, and what I have observed over last 1.5 year, generative AI is definitely a great uh, enabler for us. And we should leverage generative AI to get something done quickly with a higher quality. And sometimes the output that I get from generative AI surprises me because I wouldn't have thought of those things even as an experienced business analyst because I have been performing this role for close to 25 years now. And of course, I've been exposed to so many types of projects. Even then, things don't come to my mind. It's not that it is better always, but sometimes it is definitely better than what I am able to think. So I'm glad most of you are actually kind of in sync with today's world, and all of you are willing to learn a bit more about generative AI. I'm just going to lower the hands right now because we will proceed. If somebody has a very strong point to make, you can still raise your hand if you wish to raise some point which is very valuable to us. Okay, then let's go ahead and see. And I believe all of you have seen this. And essentially, uh, generative AI to me looks like an amazing summarizer of Google search. All of us have been using Google search for many, many years, maybe 20 years, sometimes more than 20 years. But the output that Google gave us, it wasn't very readily usable. Whereas the output that we get from generative AI tools, it seems to be way better. And the second thing, it also allows all of us to format the content the way we like, which wasn't the case with Google search. Google search will typically give you links and pages, and it also comes with a lot of advertisements, which is again a very clunky thing. So sometimes to kind of get a summary of what Google is trying to tell you, you have to really come back. So I think let me do one thing. I have to. All of you are able to see me. I would trust so because I had allowed some others to kind of
Yes.
talk.
Yes.
But okay, good. That's nice to know. But it should not take over the camera from me. That's fine. Okay. So where were we? We were talking about. So obviously, I believe it's not a buzzword. It's a transformative tool, especially for business analysts. And it's also a great tool for project managers, IT architects, practically any role. Even if you take the role of a CIO, CTO, CEO, chief of marketing, head of HR, you can use these tools to do a lot of work. We currently at Adaptive use a lot of this to generate a lot of our marketing content. And we are also trying to see how do we kind of use this for our internal tools development as well. Like recently, we are coming up with a um, new calendar app. So I can show you the new app which is coming up, and you can see the inputs that ChatGPT gave us on our own app itself. So just give me a second. I'm going to show you, and some of these changes are pretty nice, and we didn't think internally. And sometimes we are also very blinded. No, when we are within an organization for pretty long, like I have been part of Adaptive for a very long time, I'm generally blinded by what happens within Adaptive, how I think, how my colleagues think. And we may be blinded because of our environment. So I will just show you that app. and some of the suggestions that app gave us. I will give you. It's a work in progress, so don't worry so much, and don't use the link right now because it's still kind of not yet completed. It's an in-house thing. So we're trying to kind of modify our current calendar app. Some of you might have seen our old calendar app to this one. So this one is more like if you see our current calendar app, and I'll show you how generative AI has helped us to make it better. It's a very practical example that you can see, um, and we'll try doing a little bit more of that during the program as well. So this is our existing app. You can see here, and you can see here, it kind of pops up a very complicated form, as you can see here. And this has been troubling our students quite a lot. No, if you see here, I have to prompt this, I have to select so many things. And sometimes this may be a deterrent for people to actually come and do something with us. So we thought of simplifying this interface. And then we asked ChatGPT, how do we simplify this interface? It gave us one very little neat idea saying, okay, uh, pump data directly. Don't kind of show a blank interface. So now you can see here, we have shifted some of these controls. We have reduced the number of controls quite a lot. And we still have got inputs like saying, this can come here. ChatGPT has actually given us a suggestion saying, can you collapse this left panel? Okay, because if you make it collapsible, we get a little bit more space for users. So all these inputs have come from ChatGPT. Okay. It also has suggested us saying that don't use so many numbers here. Try to minimize the numbers here. So it's actually giving very, very useful suggestions from a user experience perspective, which is a great input for business analysts. So start leveraging, and you can actually take a screenshot of your existing application, put it into ChatGPT, and ask for suggestions to improve the UI from a user experience perspective. So you will get quite a bit of helpful suggestions from that as well. So in fact, that was run by our sales head, and what she commented to us, one second, I'll send you, like she sent us this, I think it must be having the name calendar, subject line. See, you can see here very clearly, ChatGPT suggestions on our calendar. And of course, we're trying to get the base
Sorry,
version.
I don't think we can see anything that you're sharing. We can only see
Oh,
your
okay.
presentation.
Okay, one second
can't
then.
see
Just
anything.
give me a second. Let me change it to the mode where I can share everything on my screen. Entire screen, that's much easier for me. Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
yes, we can see
Now you
something
can
now.
see? Okay, good.
Yeah.
You can see here how our sales head has actually asked ChatGPT for an improvement to the calendar UI. And it has started giving some suggestions like include brief tags saying best value, popular choice, simplify pricing display, okay, move filters to a collapsible sidebar, okay. See this, this is the kind of input that you can get today using generative AI. Okay, so leverage it till it functions well. Some people are saying that as we move and a lot of people start using or making it clunky, but I don't know when that will happen. At least for near foreseeable future, I believe uh, the Gen AI tools also will become smart enough to pick data from reputed websites, not from junk websites. So I believe they will have a filtering mechanism. So if the content is coming from a reputed website, it's likely to be of high quality. If it is coming from a non-reputed website, obviously that can be a problem. So you can see here visual indicators, time zone selection, okay, all these things. Add a small section for testimonials. See, look at the way it's giving inputs to us. Although not all these inputs we will use, because maybe it's hard, and maybe we will try and see. Some of the inputs can be technically a bit challenging, and we may not like to do. But look at the inputs quality. It's pretty high quality input that you can get from any of the generative AI tools. And of course, you can see the tools are proliferating right now. People talk more about ChatGPT, which is what I'm using in this presentation. But I believe there are other tools also which will be available, which will be cheaper, and maybe over time, um, almost all of us would be able to use some kind of a GPT tool without much cost. Of course, as I've been saying, lots of things can happen because of generative AI. But today, our focus is primarily on requirements modeling. So we will switch to that gear pretty soon. Again, always remember, it's not only performing your task. You can use generative AI to develop domain knowledge. This has been one challenge for many, many business analysts. You get into a new domain, you don't know about the domain. So now ChatGPT can be very helpful to learn the vocabulary, the basic processes, the regulations, the rules typically found in particular domain. Again, on foundational skills like your behavioral skills, generative AI can be very helpful. And of course, it will be helpful in conducting BA activities. And in today's webinar, our primary focus will be developing few models using a couple of generative AI tools. Okay. Always remember, it's not perfect, it's improving. But again and again, it's always important to keep a human in loop, which means whatever output you are getting from generative AI, please be careful to scan it, review it thoroughly before you give it to some stakeholder, because it can make mistakes, and they actually very proudly say that. Okay, if you look at ChatGPT interface, it'll keep telling you. Suppose if I go to ChatGPT, it'll very clearly tell you that ChatGPT can make mistakes. You can read here very, very clearly, which is true. I mean, this isn't perfect, and obviously, reviewing the output from any GPT tool is very, very important. Okay. So few other things we always see. There can be data privacy concerns, misuse of data, all those things. Like there are a lot of people talking about how biases get built into data, and how do we make sure that we avoid those biases being picked up by the system. Okay, there's a lot of discussion happening, and a lot of people talk about prompt engineering. I'm not an expert on that, but at least we'll try to see there are some frameworks which we can use to make sure that we write good prompts and we get the output that we desire to get. Okay, so this is something I'll probably come a little bit later. Some of you might have seen. It's always give a role perspective, like what are you thinking, in which role the tool should act on your behalf. Give some context. So I always give a company context, like what adaptive use is trying to do. And most of the study materials that we are preparing for our Gen AI course is based on a learning management system, which we believe most of our students and prospective students will be able to understand. Give some examples, style, and format. So I like bullet points, I like tabular format. So I generally tell the tool that provide me the output in a tabular format. So whatever format you're looking for, it can give you in one go, or you can also iterate it and change it as you like. Okay, so start with this. So this is something I always say we should keep in mind. Apply your intelligence first. Okay, don't jump into Gen AI directly, because sometimes it can sidetrack you. It can take you in a direction that you don't want to, and sometimes it will miss things also. It's not that it is all encompassing and it's not missing anything. It's not like that. So whatever thoughts you have in your mind, at least put it at a high level. Then you augment your thoughts with the generative AI tool. So you get a lot of work done, like it will do bulk work for you. And once you get the bulk output, that you validate so that you know that what the Gen AI tool is producing is correct, and I can give it to the next person in chain, which most likely will be your end users, stakeholders who would like to validate what we have created. So this simple framework will help you to make sure that you are not missing anything. You have already applied your mind to the context or situation, and you are leveraging Gen AI brute force. In a sense, I will say it has a lot of brute power. So you leverage that brute power, but you still control it. You don't let that brute power overpower you. Okay. So now what we are going to do, we are going to try uh, three simple things. So for first one, I will use ChatGPT. For the remaining two, I will use something called Lucid Chart. In fact, I had been trying to get a good diagramming tool on AI, and I struggled quite a lot. I tried ChatGPT. The outcome or output wasn't very great. We can try that in ChatGPT as well, and you can see how poor quality you get in ChatGPT. Then I tried a tool called Mermaid. Someone suggested me Mermaid. That tool was also clunky. Then finally, I stumbled upon on Lucid Chart, and it does have some amazing AI capabilities today. So then I said, okay, this seems to be a much better tool. So I'm going to demo that to you as well. So let's start with the example for data dictionary. So we go to ChatGPT, and suppose we want to create a simple data dictionary for one of the entities in our learning management system. So I want to give a context. Adaptive US is, you can write your company name, don't worry. A learning management system. Can you suggest important entities for this system? Okay, let's see what it does. We'll give it a minute or so, and you can start seeing. So it's saying user entities. So there are learners, instructors, admins, and guest users, different kinds of things. Course entities, okay? Courses, modules, lessons, assessments, certifications. All these I think you can very well recognize. So we want to develop a data model, say for the courses entity, okay? So can you develop a data model for the courses entity? Let's see. It's very interactive, which is nice. It's almost like you are asking one of your assistant to do some of the work. And let's see. Now you can see here, it says courses, attributes, description. You can see here, it has started putting um, the details for you. Okay. So let me try one more data model, which I created some time back, which is called extended data model. Okay, let's see what it does with respect to that. Okay, so maybe for the courses entity, can you develop extended data model for the courses entity? Let's see what it does. And you can see here, because generally I expect ChatGPT to produce tabular outputs for me. So it generally produces tabular outputs for me. So maybe because I have been creating a lot of outputs using generative AI, so it has kind of started learning. Okay, so it has started talking about ER diagram. See here. Okay. So I have asked this one. Visual diagram we will see a little bit later. Modules. I didn't do a very great job. I think I would have personally done a much better job. For those of you who don't know what is extended data model, you can simply go to Google and search for extended data dictionary. I wrote. Sorry. My bad. Okay. Um, can you produce? It's not data model, extended data dictionary. data dictionary, and you produce, yeah, sometimes you make mistake, don't worry, for the courses entity. So let's see, the right word would have been extended data dictionary. Somehow I missed it. Okay. Okay, let's see. Yeah, you can see here. Now it has started putting lot more details for you, like field name, data type, constraints, description, few others. But if you look at the data dictionary that we thought of as an entity, we actually had about 12 or 13 parameters, not so little. So if I show you this one, like this is coming from, this article was written by me long back. So you can see here we have about 13 more attributes compared to the 5 attributes that standard data dictionaries contain. Okay, so to some extent, it is still capturing the key attributes, but not everything. So this is where you can start looking at how you can enhance the output from ChatGPT with your template. Or maybe if we start specifying other details as well, maybe it will actually start putting up data for us as well. So we can try that as well. Can you add attributes to this data dictionary, such as maximum value, minimum value? I'm just thinking, like, these are some attributes, and let's see if it does anything like that. Okay, so we give this command, and then we wait for the output. Okay, so it's kind of creating all the details, but this time, now you see here, it has actually started putting minimum value, maximum value for me as well. So if I can enhance my prompt gradually, or even I can write a prompt saying that all the attributes that I'm looking for in the data dictionary, like as per this article, there are quite a bit of attributes that you can see here. Maybe I will be able to get some inputs from GPT about all these elements. So imagine the amount of time you will save by creating a nice prompt and executing it on ChatGPT. Okay, good. So first part, we made a data dictionary, quite nice data dictionary using ChatGPT. Now let's try creating, can you develop an ER diagram for this system? So let's see what ChatGPT does. And my experience with ChatGPT with respect to diagramming especially has not been very great. So I can push this. Yeah. Okay, hopefully let's see. We have to give it a little time. The other tools are a little faster with respect to diagramming, so we will see that as well. Okay, as it analyzes, we'll give it some time. Let's not hurry it up. And we'll try other tools to do the same thing. Okay. Yeah, right now it's saying that I can't do it right now. Sometimes it does, but it's actually giving you some kind of a table design kind of a thing, but it's not able to draw the ER diagram for us. Okay. So then what we do, we go to our other generative AI tool, which is Lucid Chart. So some of you might know Lucid Chart. It's a very popular diagramming tool. You can draw many kinds of diagrams using Lucid Chart, very powerful, and we can draw any kind of diagram we like. So maybe we want to try something like a So I'm picking up one diagram which I have created in the past. So I'll just leave it a little bit, and then we will add a new page here. And what we are going to do, observe the icon that I'm going to. It's something called generate diagram. Okay, so click on this. And suppose I want to, you have to give a prompt here, develop an ER diagram for the learning management system. Okay, maybe I'll write entity relationship diagram, or I can actually choose the option. Because I'm looking at entity relationship diagram, I'm going to click on this choice so that it understands that I'm looking for an ER diagram. Okay, and you see a beautiful thing here called enhance prompt. Okay, so I say enhance prompt. If you want it in the vertical direction or horizontal direction, you can choose any one. This time, let me choose the vertical orientation. Okay, so it has enhanced my prompt. So what you can do is copy the prompt, take it to Microsoft Word. Okay, because sometimes the prompt may not be what you are looking for. So go here, and I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. Page width. Okay, so let's review this generated prompt to see if it is okay. It's making sense or not. So always we will question the output. Okay. Um, hmm. Okay. Now, if you see here, it actually talks something very interesting. It talks about data flow diagram. If you see here, no, ensure that the data flows logically from start point. We are not looking at data flow. We are only looking at data model. Okay, so I can remove this part because I don't think it makes sense for me at this time. But the remaining part looks like good. And I can say, suppose you're looking for crow fit notation. I can say using crow fit notation, if that is the notation that you are looking for. So I copy back this one to the tool. Let me close this one. I don't need it. And I post it back here. And then I, of course, don't do anything more. And I just say generate. Just give it a couple of seconds. Okay. Now you can see here, the diagram has come up for you. Okay. Maybe it's very tiny because I'm at a very low resolution. So you can see here, it's created the instructor, course, student, okay, assignment, enrollment, and of course you can see here, many of these attributes have come. You again have connections also, which you can review. And the good part about is, for the timing, I'm just finishing the editing, but you can do further editing to this diagram as well. Okay. Say, for example, if we want to add something to the instructor profile or maybe the student profile, let me go and see. Right now, suppose I go to the course student and I want to capture the LinkedIn profile of the student. Okay, for whatever reason, because LinkedIn profiles are very helpful to understand a student's past experiences, what the student has done. It's a very helpful information for both the student and the faculty. So let's try doing that as well. And let's see, let's give this instruction to the diagram and see what it does. Can you add LinkedIn profile attribute to the faculty or instructor and student entity, Let's see what it does. Give it another few seconds. Okay, now it has changed and let's see our entity and see if that has been done or not. Now you can see here, LinkedIn profile has become a string. Okay, so this is this easy now. It produces certain output, you want something else. So that's why I always said, what you definitely expect, you put it in your Excel or Word document, allow it to create things, and then you edit it based on what it has created. So this would have taken us about 30 minutes to create, and we probably created it in less than 5 minutes. Okay. So this tool can not only create entity relationship diagram, it also can create class diagrams for you. So let me go back to my prompt. And in this case, I'm going to look for a class diagram. Class diagram, okay, including, so instead of saying entities, I'm going to say classes. And let's see, should use major classes. So it's very similar concepts. So I'm able to reuse the prompt, okay, for each class, okay, using profit notation. Let's see. So now I'm going to copy this, create a class diagram. I go back to Lucid Chart and I create another page in which I decide to draw a class diagram. Okay. And I don't need to enhance the prompt because I modified it later on earlier. And I just give the command generate. Jerry, just give me 2 minutes. I will come to you. Let me just finish this one and then I will come to you. Okay. Good. Now you can see here in the class diagram, it doesn't seem to have done good job. You can very clearly see that it is only putting the attributes, but it is not adding operations. Okay. Can you please update the classes and leveraging extended, let's say extended crowd matrix. All of you, I trust, know crowd matrix. It's a very simple operation that we do on almost all classes. So I'm kind of asking the UI tool to use that. And let's say update. Diagramming is always a painful process. All of us realize, and that's why we typically avoid diagramming as much as we should. No, so now you can see here, yeah. So it has created, create, read, update, delete, all this common with a proper naming convention. You don't have to worry. Okay. So it's done reasonably well for us to start playing around with the thing. Okay. So now you saw entity relationship diagram, you saw class diagram. It in fact has other kinds of diagrams also which you can use, like say flow chart, you can use sequence diagram, you can use mind map to create mind maps. And I'm believing that the way Lucid Chart is developing, they will add many more AI capabilities to other diagrams as well, like SWOT analysis, balance scorecard. I trust over a period of time, they will definitely add more and more diagrams to be created through generative AI mechanism. Okay. So I think some of you have raised your hand. Let me go and see what is the question. And okay. Yes, Jerry, go ahead.
No, I was just a while ago saying that I couldn't see your screen, but you're sharing now, so it's all good.
Okay, good. Okay, good. Thank you. Then I think one more has raised hand. Priyanka, go ahead, Priyanka.
Yeah, I just wanted to know, can we create use case diagrams as well in this?
Right now, not through AI, but you can draw use case diagrams using Lucidchart. But that option hasn't come here yet. Okay.
Okay.
So
Mm-hmm.
in fact, I have written an email to Lucidchart folks because I worked with them to publish a book some time back, about 7 years or maybe 5 years back. And we wrote a book on UML diagrams using Lucidchart. And I see probably this is the first large diagramming tool which has come up with these features. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
There are, of course, other tools as well which will help you. Like there is something called Mermaid Chart. I don't like it so much, but you can actually, okay. And I tried creating some diagrams here. It's a bit clunky. It's not that easy to kind of take it to other templates or formats. The good part about Lucidchart is it's very easily exportable, copyable, editable. So that's a major plus. But if you're looking at some kind of AI chat here, they have, and it's probably, uh, I'll just select personal project, and then I will try to sequence diagram. Okay, so here is the message that I can give. Can you create use case diagram for a learning management system? Okay, let's see what it does. Okay, so it's kind of getting all the data, and you can see here. It has created one kind of a diagram, but not the way we look at it. No, most of us are comfortable in looking at use case diagram in a particular way, like the stick-like figure.
Yes.
No, all of us remember, student is a stick-like figure, instructor is a stick-like figure, administrator is a stick-like figure. It's still developing some kind of a diagram, but it's not developing in a more conventional sense. But if you see, it has found the use cases for you, like assign student, view course content, register for course, grade assignment. All the use cases it has found, but it hasn't really found the right, I would say, the best way to represent them. Maybe this tool also will evolve over a period of time, and but it's much more expensive. Like this is $80 a month, okay, which is quite a lot of money. Lucid Chart is $9 a month. Okay, so that way Lucid
Yeah.
Chart is a far greater value for money compared to Mermaid Chart.
Okay.
I'm
Thank you.
quite sure in next 6-8 months, there will be many more diagrams coming to Lucid Chart in the drop down that I showed you. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Then I think two of you again have raised hands. How do I see? This is a little bit challenging for me. Where is the option to see? Priyanka, do you want to say something?
No, I got my answer. You already answered. I was asking about
Okay.
use case.
Then I have to drop this off. Okay. Vinith also has said already, no? Vinith, do you have any question?
Yes, yes, Mishra. So recently I started. I mean, not recently, exactly like 6 months before I started using process flows with the help of Lucid
Uh,
Charts, and
uh,
it's giving me very good results. And it's saving me a lot
yeah,
of
yeah,
time.
yeah,
So, and one of the greatest advantage is that I can change the boxes. Like if it is like a decision box, I can change up or
mm,
down. So even that
yeah,
facility also they have given us.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
really nice.
It's
So
a great tool. And
yeah, so
that's why for 2025, we have decided that students who enroll into some of these courses, which are skill-based courses, they will have access to Lucid Chat as a paid tool. So they
oh,
can
that's
leverage
nice.
the chat to do something. So
Yeah,
that's
so
something in our plan to offer some of these BA tools to our students. Not all students, but people who enroll into the skill courses.
Sure, sure, sure. So today, like I learned a lot of things in this class, Mishra, because I was just going into the Chat GPT or Copilot to get the steps, and then copy paste from there to Lucid Chats. I was doing that,
Okay.
but today I learned like I can
Okay.
directly give the prompt here.
Yeah, true, true, true. It has been a good discovery for me as well. Okay. If anyone wants to ask any question, the best way for you is to actually raise your hand. Then I can unmute you. You can't unmute yourself, but I can unmute you and answer. Like Alan has asked, um, and this is also something I'm discovering with Zoom recently, that you can do this. I didn't know this is something happening. And the good part about all the tools is they're changing quite rapidly. They're becoming much richer. But the bad part is, again, you have to keep up with the tools, because every week when you come back, something is new in the tool. That's okay. No worries. Those of you who want to ask questions, please raise your hand and I will give you an opportunity to ask question. Okay, so I see a lot of comments. Lalita is also here. Okay, good. Okay, Stephanie. Okay, most of you have complained about the screen not being shared. That I think now you see. And I believe all of you could see Lucid Chart, Mermaid Chart, and ChatGPT. ChatGPT, I think most of you would have seen before. It's nothing new. Okay. Okay, calendar. Okay, we can't see your screen. Miro is again another great tool, which I personally haven't used much, but there are a lot of whiteboarding tools coming up now. Lucid Chat also has a whiteboarding tool. Miro is something also I have heard very good reviews about. Um, VCO professional, maybe I have not tried. Alan, did you see the AI capabilities in VCO as well? I'm not very sure. I haven't seen, so I can't comment. Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, the way you ask questions, you can always expand a lot more on ChatGPT. In terms of text content, it is definitely very rich, very powerful. But on images, I still have a little bit of um, not so happy thing with this one. Let's see what ChatGPT produces for us. Oh, this one, it said that anyway, it cannot do the diagram at this time. Or maybe it will try some other way. Uh, you have to copy the code and go somewhere else, which is what I'm getting right now. And also, it's important to remember the output that I receive, you receive can be different. So that's one thing we always have to remember, that the outputs are generally changing as you keep asking questions, and different people may get different outputs for the same question. Okay, good. I think that's about it. That is what I wanted to cover today. Yes, Priyanka, you again have raised your hand.
No, I raised it earlier only.
Okay, nothing
Yeah.
more?
No, I was just checking. I have taken this Chat GPT, some advanced version.
Uh,
This image generation I could see. So I was just trying to see ER diagrams and all. It can
uh,
generate, but I don't know what it is generating. It's very small. I can't see.
okay, that's what my experience with ChatGPT hasn't been very great with respect to uh, image generation. Sheila has a question. Is Lucid Chat free? It is free, but you can only create 3 diagrams. So as long as you copy the diagram out and take it to some other place, uh, at simultaneous level, you can have only 3 free diagrams on the tool. That much only you can do. And I think AI and all don't come in the free version, but you can generate diagrams for free. If you're just looking at 1 or 2 diagrams, you can do. Okay, so that's about it for today. This is what we saw. You can, as I said, you can also leverage Lucid Chart for any kind of process modeling activity. I can show you one example as well. Like say, for example, if we try a new diagram here, And suppose I say generate a process flow diagram using swimlane sorry, I think I made a mistake here. Using swimlane method for a student enrollment process. So student and learning administrator as two lanes. Okay, this is what I'm thinking. Okay, and I can actually ask it to enhance the prompt as well. So it'll create a little bit of more details, which you have to again edit, always check. For lack of time, I'm not doing it now. I'm just going to show you the output from this tool. That's very strange.
We need to change the type, Mishra, from class diagram to process flow at the top.
Okay, yeah, I made a mistake. Okay, so let me now put it as flowchart and try this. It should have been able to pick up. No, AI is smart. It should pick up, but anyway, it doesn't matter. We know the error. Yeah, so it's kind of taking a little time. So we'll wait for the chart to come. See here. Okay. Now you can see. Oh, sorry. I'm seeing myself. This one, don't click the finish editing thing. If you click the finish editing thing, no, then it becomes a trouble. So it's still not creating the swim lanes for you, although it has created all the tasks nicely. So you can actually put them into two swim lanes and then kind of, but the diagram is quite neat. From a flowchart perspective, it seems to be pretty nice. No problems having all the icons properly, all the tasks, all the decisions, everything generated for you. And as long as you can write a nice script saying, I want you to do this, after this, you want to do this, take this decision, you will get your diagram. Okay. Good. So I think I will stop here from the tools demo perspective here. Couple of minutes on what we do. I believe most of us, most of you would know about us. We help business analysts move ahead in their career. That's our primary focus. And as part of that, we do offer plenty of training courses. A good number of them are, of course, targeted towards IIBA certifications. We have been requesting IIBA for a AI certification course, but doesn't seem like it's on the radar for IIBA. So we have gone ahead and we have created a certification course on generative AI as well, because what we believe is a good training, good study guide, and access to tools will make a lot of difference to our students and a community as a whole. So that is what I'm announcing for you today. So we are going to introduce a course in 2025. Our existing BA skill courses are getting upgraded. So they are going to have generative AI as part of the training itself. You don't have to do any special training, but the generative AI training will also be available as a standalone module if somebody wants to take it as a standalone module. So as part of the regular BA skills training, you get a lot of training on agile concepts, Jira, Confluence, Balsamic. We are probably dropping MSVCO and going ahead with Lucid Chart, primarily because of this AI focus, and Bizazi as well. And there is resume, interview preparation, access to plenty of BA templates that you can use, and you can leverage them in your generative AI projects as well. So like use them as starting point for your generative AI discussion. Of course, we do have data tools trainings as well. That is also something very popular. So you get training on Excel, SQL, Python, Tableau, Power BI. So lots of tools training on data side as well. again, all our trainings are guaranteed to run. All our certification courses are guaranteed to succeed. So if you don't successfully complete the certification, we promise to pay you retake fees 2 times, which is kind of pretty heavy expense on us. But that's a commitment that we make to each of our students. Okay, so you can read about a lot of our student stories. These are the people that you will see in the training. Most of the skills trainings are taken by Tom. Some are taken by me as well, and some are by Olivia as well. The certification courses are typically run by Victoria, myself, and Laura, and Olivia also sometimes takes some certification courses as well. Lots of reviews, you can read them up on internet. And there's a lot of good free trials which you can try. And mostly they are on the certification courses. And then, as I said before, I'm going to give you a link. I think I did not copy the link here, but if you go to thinkific.adaptiveus.com, this is a link on which we host our LMS. So I'm going to give this link here as well. Sorry. I trust you can read the link here. It's not a very complicated link. Where is my PPT? It's thinkific.adaptiveus.com. And if you go here and look for this course called Generative AI, like go to all courses and look for Generative AI. Oh, it's already there. I'm glad it's coming up in the first place. So right now it is priced at $99. In the first week of January, we are going to make it as $299. So those of you who register today, you will get it for $99, and it will come with a 3-hour training, study guide, prompts guide, access to tools such as Lucidchart, ChatGPT, Mermaid. We may not give because it's very expensive and we don't see the value. Then if you have any further questions, you can come and join some of our tutorials as well. So that's what the course will entail. And this is what is being launched as I'm speaking with you. And of course, we will provide a certificate of attendance as well. And maybe sometime later, we will also have exams conducted on generative AI. That's probably maybe a quarter later. And students can also take online courses and go for the exam as well. That's also a possibility that we will explore, but that's probably in Q2 or Q3 of 2025. Good. So that's about it from me to all of you. I trust you guys learned something new today. And if you still have any further question, you can write to us. Our email ID is cs@adaptiveus.com. And of course, you can also reach us on our toll-free number as well, in case you would like to speak with us. Okay. Thank you so much, folks, for joining us today. And I'm very happy that we made a good start on our generative AI journey. And I'm hoping in 2025, it will become a major course for us and a major course for you as well. Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you.